Going to do some somatic psychotherapy on me. I've been working with channeling a lot more of my energy effectively. My prayer is that I'm a ninja wizard Jedi, so that I contain my energy, so that I can radiate out instead of always just being all up in your grill. So Lena, why don't you tell us what we're going to work on?
So hello everyone, and thank you to all of you that watched our previous videos and for all of the amazing comments that we've gotten and for all those people that reached out to me to get sessions. So
tell your name again.
My name is Lena Sophia. I'm a somatic psychotherapist and also a somatic experiencing practitioner, which is a form of trauma healing. I'm also a initiated Mayan and fire water priestess from the highlands of Guatemala. I carry a tradition from Don Alejandro Cirilio Perez Oxla, Wandering Wolf. And I do yoga for transformation. I do yoga ceremony and teach meditation. So I combine the psychotherapeutic work with the shamanic work and just bring basically a long journey around over 25 years of learning these modalities, healing myself, walking the indigenous red road. I bring all of this work into what I do. And this will be the second session with Troy, and it'll be a somatic experiencing / somatic psychotherapy session. And we're just gonna dive right in. We haven't really talked about what he wants to bring forth into the session. That's the cool thing about this method is that, I don't really need long stories. The stories are also very important, and it's important to feel like a rapport, a trust between therapist and client. But these are transformative times where we have to really get into the nervous system, get into the body, mind, get in deep into the energy body and the soul, and do our deep transformative work. And it doesn't have to take 10 years of long talk therapy anymore. When we work with the nervous system and we work with the body and also the energy body, because I include that dimension that we do have a spirit, a soul, a higher self, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter the word. It's like the truth of who we are, the power of who we are to be born through the body. That this is what we're being asked to do at this time. And we need, things that work and quick change to be present and to become more of who we are on earth. So that's why somatic experiencing is a very powerful method. And we're just going to take it one step at a time here together. He's going to bring up in the beginning of the session something that triggers him, something that's bothering him, stressing him, weighing on him. It could be something that happened recently. It could be something connected to an event. It could be something from the past. It doesn't really matter. Or it could just be, you can always just dive into how you're feeling right now. But oftentimes just sharing a brief check-in in the beginning brings forth the issue in the body, mind, spirit, emotional system. And then we have what we need to work with already present. And so, I'm gonna go.
Well, I would like to also say that my last session, I had some stagnation in my piriformis and the left side of my leg. A lot of my life, I had some knots and constipation in my lower abdomen, left side, and that translated into my leg. I had a varicose vein removed a couple of years ago from there, so there was stagnation in that, and then some misfiring in my piriformis and my glute, and it would create stagnation down my leg, and that's kind of why I do all my qigong, kind of get that thing moving. And I've experienced that we've really moved the needle forward on that. There's less stagnation there.
Yeah, you feel different.
Yeah, I definitely feel a difference. My glute and my piriformis is more activated. I used to bang on it and stuff, and I don't do that as much. And so it's only been about a month ago,
right,
or a little bit more since we did that. So whatever work that we did, I feel really stuck, and it worked. And so I'm back for more, and I'm very excited. And I've got plenty of stuff to work on.
Yeah, and I like that you give me that feedback, because it's like, it was interesting, and this work can be kind of abstract, because it's like he's telling me something that's bothering him. It's usually psychological, emotional, a mental thing, and then we go into the mindfulness of the moment and what he's feeling in his body. So then at some point the mind kind of can come up for you in a somatic psychotherapy session, being like, why is she asking me to feel my body? Why does she care so much about the sensations in my body? What about my feeling, you know, what about the storyline, right? And the mind will play tricks like that. But what you, so you already felt like you had a result just getting mindful together with me, going into the body. And I remember what happened in that session is that we tuned in to what your leg wanted to do. And you know, your leg had a release. We slowed it down. We made it very like aware and conscious. And that was enough to release energy from his nervous system, that there's already a shift in how he feels in that part of his body. So again, body, mind, spirit, emotions are all connected. So working with the body, we're accessing your emotional body, we're accessing your mental body, we're accessing your energy body. It's all one. And you also mentioned to me that you're always trying to work out that physically, either by hitting it, massaging it,
Qigong,
stomping, yeah. And that's great. I mean, you're obviously moving energy, but when there's a psychological, you know, trauma or wounding or tension or stress behind it, that's just, you know, you're just addressing the physical. You have to get into the emotional body. You have to get into the nervous system. And that's what we did. And then you actually felt a shift.
I felt the shift, and I've been working on this on many angles as well. And I keep hearing, you know, from other therapists that I interview, and you know, if you just feel your emotions, but sometimes we're so caught in our head to actually, okay, what am I actually feeling? Because I'm running around in my head going, you know, oh, this person bothered me, or I'm offended by this, or
you were hijacked by our minds most of the time.
Right.
And so it's like that thing, like, where do you feel the emotion in the body? Can we open up that? It's kind of like a package, an energetic package, and then release the energy. So it's not recycling within the nervous system over and over again, attracting the same problem again and again, giving you anxiety, depression, stress,
back pain, neck pain.
Yeah, or leading us into our addictions, right? The thing that we go to when we want to override the deep suffering and loneliness and the black hole inside that we are all dealing with to some degree or another. You know, it's a human condition, and it's worth, like we said last time, it's worth just feeling that for a little bit, releasing some of that energy.
Yeah, and I don't see too many enlightened people walking around, so yes, we are all pretty much dealing.
Right, and there's no shame around that. And you're so brave, Troy, for also, you know, many times on your channel, revealing your process, revealing your intimate story, your whatever it be, like your story around addiction, or your story around suffering, or just, you know, I remember that even that one video you did where you were vulnerable enough just to cry, to bare your open heart, and just to show that we're in this human condition together, and we're really all vulnerable, and at the same time extremely powerful, and we have the capacity to actually just drop in and feel and be. There's no shame around this, you know. I'm still doing this.
Yeah, and there's so much cancel culture and shaming everyone about, you know, so many aspects of being human. So my purpose is to bring more fun, freedom, and phenomenon to people, and, you know, look no further than the microcosm to the macrocosm, either me or someone else. I think when I do it, or somebody else does it, then the world transforms.
Yeah, we give permission to each other to be who we truly are.
So good. I'm excited to get started.
Yeah, good. So just take a moment, just again, as we're like leaving everyone who might be watching to the side, and this is about you. It's about like taking sacred time and space to attend to the underlying inner process, because you're active, you're always doing a lot every day. But like, it's like, how are you really feeling? What is really going on? what is not feeling right. And we're just giving loving attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and remember, once we drop into that, I'm going to give you a chance to express yourself. And once we drop into that, again, it's like we've conjured it up in the room. We've conjured it up in the room of your body, mind. And then it's there, it's available to us. And then all we're going to do is pay attention to sensations of your body. You know, you're going to let me know what you're feeling. Any emotions that come up, we're not going to override the emotions, we're going to be with them. Any images that come up, because some people are visual, they receive these impressions, or you might hear something, and introject someone else's voice, something you received along the way of your journey as a human being that's just not true. It's like these false agreements we get.
Mm-hmm.
Any memories that come up, because again, what's the repetitive wounds in our life, the repetitive problems, they're often connected to a childhood event that scarred us, or we had some soul loss, and a part of us was like cut off. Like, that's not okay to be like that, because mom and dad don't love me when I'm like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I did this, I got abandoned, so I'm not going to be that anymore, because that's so painful and vulnerable. So again, if the memories come up, they're important because without even knowing it, there's an association sometimes. So the wounding that we have in our childhood, it keeps on repeating itself with new people, different faces, different situations, but the essence of the issue is the same. And it's just an opportunity to heal. The problem is when we don't bring consciousness to that, we don't like see the bigger picture. We don't get a healing technique to actually ease that trauma. Then it repeats and it repeats and it repeats, and it becomes even darker and even heavier because it doesn't become a healing experience. It becomes a re-traumatization. And this is what we're kind of going at. We're going into your energy matrix. It's in the nervous system. It's in the energy body. And once we can release energy from that, then the repetition lessens or disappears at some point, because that kind of like a black seed is gone. It's not, you're not like attracting that to you anymore because we removed it from your energy body, your nervous system. So again, the memories are important. Sensations, images, feelings, emotions. And then if anything else comes up in the sense of you feel that you have an impulse to move, like behavior, your body wants to do something, you're going to tell me, you're not going to do it, you're going to tell me, and then I'll work with that. So everything you tell me, I use to navigate this ship together. Okay? So what is going on? Like, what would you like to bring forth to touch in upon, so we can at least release a little layer of it from your sense of self today?
Well, what I've been working on is really just, fine-tuning my sharp tongue and my anger, righteous indignation. It's mixed with, it's not just that would trigger it, like injustice and any kind of manipulation, control. And I'm dealing with a loved one right now who stole a large sum of money of mine, and then went on the offensive and lied to police and took my children away, and then dealing with the court systems and seeing how corrupt that situation is, and working to pray, to just for my own salvation and for my loved ones, including the person that harmed me. But that's like a mental construct.
Right.
And then what's coming up is when I deal with this, because it comes in waves, just the injustice, and I get angry.
Right.
And, I had to deal with, filing some lawsuits and stuff like that. And just the frustration, the paperwork. I've never liked paperwork.
Right.
I don't like minutia. I see the criminal activity of lawyering and writing all this legislation when I know the law, I know the natural law, I know the common law, and then I see all this legislation and this paperwork that's really just there to, screw with people and screw people out of their money, which is energy. So I get pretty frustrated with that, and it's an injustice. The difference between right and wrong,
right,
and lying and stealing, and I'm not like that. So, and I realize that I'm not a victim, so I get to deal with it for my own salvation and my own growth.
right.
And but I lost my cool yesterday to dealing with this, and I'd like to think that I've arrived beyond that, and I just see that the seeds, are in there, and I use tobacco a little bit more recently, and I realized, because it's been coming in waves, these attacks on me, and the theft and the extortion, it's been coming in waves, and I recently, got off the marijuana and the caffeine and tobacco, but then I came back with the tobacco and I realized that was helping calm my nervous system.
Right.
And, I smoked when I was a lot younger, from 13 to, I smoked for about 20 years. And I just see that recently, it's so calming and soothing and useful in the moment, yet that, that's not my highest health choice.
Right.
Even though I feel it's very useful for me at times. And so I have been self-medicating with that, and then just losing my cool. I've done a lot of work with other practitioners and spiritual guides, and lots of prayers, and I just know that what came up yesterday, I'm not going to be a Zen master in the face of, a loved one or this loved one still trying to manipulate, control, cheat, lie, steal. That anger is going to come up. It's still there.
Yeah.
So, and that's a little bit of a negative feedback loop for me as well. And then a little self beat up, and so that's what I'm dealing with.
Right. So I'm going to address some things that you just brought up, just to kind of also just back you up a little bit. So first of all, I hear that you're saying that you're also trying to work with, like, kind of bringing this to an unconditionality, like forgiveness,
love, for sure.
Yeah, and also that kind of that spaciousness and kind of like a help me creator, and you said it's a mental construct, because then when you notice, when it comes to like the real life interaction, it's just still, it's a mental thing. It's not like coming from the heart and fully from the body, and that's okay, because it's what we're wanting to do is we're gonna, like, the anger is the important thing, is to wash away with time layers of this anger, to make room, to make room for the more, because forgiveness and love is spacious. Anger is hot, and it's like it fills up the whole space when it comes in. And so keep on, even though that the love and the forgiveness and the higher perspective, keep on working on that and holding it, and just know that will eventually trickle in. Once there's more of the anger is released from your nervous system, to make space for that. And when it comes to like triggers and hot emotions, and anger is usually one of them, rage, or some people jump to sadness or to the poor me thing or the victimhood. But it's kind of like there's that moment in time, the trigger happens, there's something or external reality that reminds us of something that happened in the past. It triggers us. So when we get triggered, like the brain shuts down, like the neocortex, this part of the brain where we have insight, we can take a step back, we can emotionally respond to something versus react. You know, it's the calm meditative mind. That is gone. The brain gets hijacked by other parts of the brain that take over, and then there's a neurochemical thing that happens, like so for you, we were talking about anger. It's like neurochemicals, it's drugs. All of the neurochemicals that are associated with anger start to run through your body, and then you say, like, you lose it. There is no more witness, the higher mind of Troy Casey saying, you know, I shouldn't say that right now, I shouldn't do this right now, that could escalate this, you know. All foresight gets washed away, and it's like we get hijacked by very powerful forces, and it's in the physical body. It's neurochemical, which is like a drug. So I just also want to say that what this brings in the compassion, you know, that you're not doing anything wrong. You just get possessed by the spirit of anger, which has an energy force. It has a neurochemical force. There's it shuts down foresight in the brain, you know, and then you just get ready for fight, flight, because there's something to defend, right? It's like your survival.
Yeah, I want to kill.
Right.
I want retribution.
Yes. So this is your nervous system that's been given to us to survive in this world. You know, fight. Either I fight, there's a threat, or I fight, I flee, flight, I disappear from this, or I freeze. Because, you know, there's like the playing dead thing in the awesome. Animal of who we are, right? If I can't get away and I can't fight this thing, well then let me go comatose and go into this freeze response. Mm-hmm. And that is often related to some of our addictions, right? Where we like the addiction will be like, oh, when we get that substance or we do that thing, then we kind of like numb over, right? Mm-hmm. We go into like a type of like calming of it, right? Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to say that
all that happens.
Right, and it's okay, and we want to be these like amazing, loving, evolved, enlightened human beings, and we're working on that. But at the same time, there's kind of like this animal beast inside of us that we're living in the body. You know, we don't have complete control over everything. We can master our emotions. It just takes time. And so right now, we're just acknowledging that you're working on that higher piece, but we need to address it. We can't override. And that's what I talk about spiritual bypassing a lot. We can't override the darkness. We can't override the ugly demon inside. We can't override what we're hiding in the closet. We can't override the truth. We need to drop into what's ugly and painful and is uncomfortable. And then through that, we can transform and make room for the light, for the higher qualities of humanity. So you've done nothing wrong. There's a reason why your go-to thing often is anger. And it's something from the past, most likely your upbringing. But that doesn't even matter. You know, it's good to know that story too. But all we have to do is just, we're going to address like maybe even the situation yesterday. We don't even have to go to details. You can just go into like what you're feeling in the body right now as you're recalling the injustice you felt that you were experiencing yesterday. Then the other thing is about you're noticing the tobacco, okay? So first of all, you've done an amazing job of coming very far and overriding many addictions. And you're taking good care of yourself and you're clean to a point. Really, you really are, you know, and you're working on that. Right now, you're going through a highly stressful time. It's normal for us to regress into old patterns. Mm-hmm. And what we're talking about here, okay, I know that addiction has its hook in many different ways. We're not talking about heroin here, we're talking about tobacco. So let's also just, you're doing your best, it's okay. And tobacco also, like, you know, Native American perspective, you know, it does have its qualities of its medicine, right? And if you need I know you don't need it, but if you go to it right now, once in a while, it's okay. You can live without it. You have lived without it. You will live without it. Right now, let's just be gentle, because you're being triggered. And if you need that one cigarette once in a while, okay, it's not the end of the world. You're conscious about what you're doing. It's, so I understand we're just trying to bring some compassion and softness, because it's, you're just a man under a lot of pressure trying to do your best. And there's some major things that have to do with family, children, who you are as a man. These are like major life issues. Money, career, all of the major spheres of life are being touched here. So you have a right to want to defend and get angry and to create boundary and to fight. So we're just going to be we're going to be looking today for like, what can we ease a little bit of this energy out of your body-mind system to make space for, because what we're eventually looking for, especially with anger, to create enough space for that brain not to be hijacked, for you can be like, even in the moment, okay, I'm getting hijacked by the anger in my brain, by the certain parts of my brain that rule anger. The reptilian brain is also getting in, there's danger. I have to defend, I have to fight. And it's like what we're trying to do with therapy, that's what therapy does, it creates a little space. So then you can say, oh, I'm getting angry. I feel the sensations rise in my body. Let me take a deep breath. I think it's best that I remove myself from the situation right now, because I can't control myself. How do I find a peaceful way to excuse myself? I'm sorry, I need to go take a walk. I'll be back. I can feel that I'm angry and I don't want to yell at you, so I'm going to take a break right now. I'll get back to you. So again, we're looking for response versus reaction.
Right.
And that takes working with the nervous system and releasing the demon or the anger being from the body, energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally. And once that, again and again, it's like a massage, easing it. Then one day you will be able to, it's not like anger won't arise, you'll just make another choice. Instead of yelling or fighting, you'll be like, I need to take a step back and calm myself down before I do something.
I mean, I've been working on that for years.
I know.
My friends were they were on the phone with me today, and they're like, I got all upset about something. They're like, Troy, you can't do that. And I was like, yeah, that's why I don't really want to be in a courtroom.
Yeah.
And so, so that's why I'm here. I'm here to work on that.
Right.
And,
yeah. Good. So, do you want to, again, you choose how much detail you bring up. It doesn't really, because again, the stories, the mind story, it doesn't matter that much. It's just the essentials. And you can just even bring up, like in your own mind if you want, what happened yesterday or another time that made you angry. It's like you choose where it's associated with injustice, right? A threat.
Yeah, so I got angry this morning as well, talking about it.
Right.
And then, I'm also running my platforms and my business at the same time. And going for a hike. Or yesterday I was out on my bicycle running all these errands and doing paperwork. And I was on the phone. I was literally probably doing too much, right? Doing too many things. And then I was talking to some bureaucrat about something, and they couldn't help me, right? So you have to go get a lawyer for this, and somebody told me that these people are like librarians that they're there to help you. And then that's not what happened. What they said is you need to find a lawyer because I can't give you legal advice, and all I wanted to know is what papers I need to file. And I just felt cornered and frustrated.
Right, and that also kind of like helpless, like you needed help, you're reaching out, you're trying to take action, and you're hitting these like walls. Or
And I dealt with that when I had black mold poisoning too, and I called a few attorneys just to see, and I spent like an hour on the phone explaining my case, and you know, a lot of them just wouldn't take it, and so that's, you know, that's frustrating, and I'm dealing with another, you know, attorney, ambulance chaser that sees money and is willing to represent, you know, the other party, and then just it's just a big runaround, and it's a big bureaucracy, and none of it seems to be based in truth and righteousness and it's like entitlement, and you know, and again back to the legal systems, and the systems drive me nuts as well.
Right.
And part of my template is to transform all the systems. And so, and I went to the city hall meeting the other day to see what they're doing about traffic. And, well, actually about my kid's school. And it sounds like that they kicked my kids out of school, and they're going to commandeer that for the traffic problem or something like that, you know. And everything was so slow, and there's so much traffic and pollution here, and they're talking about 4 years. I'm like, oh,
right.
it just seems like just stuck, stagnant, blind leading the blind.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, again, divine law is not the same, unfortunately, as human law. It would be great if we lived in a world where they were united. But again, there's that frustration around where's the justice?
Right.
You know, where's the truth? Where are the representatives that are really awake and aware? You know, can we merge that spiritual world with the physical world and have true justice on earth?
And it goes hand in hand with the plant medicines. And a friend of mine made a movie, The Peyote Road, back in '93, and it details the settlers who came here for religious justice and then oppressed the people that were here and didn't allow them to use their sacraments, and all the paper pushing through Congress, and yeah, it just seems completely unjust. And even a couple of my friends, you know, had challenges with that recently here, and it just seems like such an old dinosaur. And then I guess there's a part of where it's like, why me? Why do I got to deal with this? Because normally I don't instigate that type of activity, and then I can't understand why my loved one would do that as well, because she knows who I am.
Right.
And just being dragged into that, I don't like using drag because that is more victim, but just being in that situation, for me, it's disgusting. It's frustrating. It's sad. Yeah. It's sad. It really is.
Right. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you is like, if you start to feel it in your body and also bring it forth in your memory right now, these situations lately that have been making you angry. And I'm going to ask you again, but like you said, it makes me feel frustrated, angry, or you said sad. But just right now, let's bring it forth. The subconscious lives in the body. Your whole story lives in the body. So just bring forth the memory of the unfairness, the injustice, the things that are triggering you. And just tune in to what is happening again, on all the levels, your body sensations, memories, images, behaviors, and then the feeling, the emotion.
Yeah, I feel something. I feel it in my leg.
Yeah, the same leg.
Down the left side of my leg.
Right.
But I also, especially when I started talking about tobacco, and it's always wrapped around this side of my this side of my body.
Right.
And then, but I feel, you know, it's up in my clavicle and just around my neck. And that's kind of a new sensation. It comes in a little bit in my heart, and and then it's still the same whole leg thing.
Yeah. So try to feel it, those areas that you feel or noticing are beginning to speak without touching them, okay? And try to feel as much as you can with your eyes open. You don't have to look at me. You can look down, up, around. I'm always here when you want to connect. And if you need to close your eyes to feel, do it just briefly and then come back to the world. But notice, can you just describe what you're speaking about with describing words of how the sensations feel down the neck, the left side of the body, the side of the left thigh. Tuning in and just telling to describe it using words.
The throat feels a little choked up.
Okay.
And the leg feels extremely stagnant, dull. Dull, and it comes through my heart and down into the left side of my intestines, and a little bit in my arm, kind of like a numbness.
Yeah.
A numbness.
Okay. That's we're dealing with numbness sensations, numb sensations, kind of, yeah, that's it. So there you just yawned, and this is one of the signs that we use as a postmarker in somatic experiencing that your nervous system is beginning to release. And look, you did that. That happened just by tuning in, being mindful of what you feel. So there's constriction in the throat, numbness. Let's just be with that for a little bit. And notice, tell me if it changes or shifts. And again, you're just also still touching in upon the injustice, what makes you angry about your life situation right now and the things that you're dealing with. And just notice what happens next.
The left side of my head, my skull seems to be opening up a little bit more.
Okay.
But my left leg, it's getting just stagnant, dull, and heavy.
Yeah, so it's becoming heavier. Okay. And as far as, is there any part of your body that feels like empowered, resource, neutral, calm? Anything that's like much more pleasurable than the stagnant numbness?
Yeah, the right side of my body, my right arm, for sure.
Describe what you feel there in the right arm.
Just peaceful, energetic.
Yeah.
Balanced, calm, like I came out of an Epsom salt bath.
Right. Yeah. So let's just tune into that part. That resource that you have within right now, that there's like calmness there. Or spaciousness. As you do that, just let me know what else might come up. Just give me space. Listen what feels good. And what easeful from the contraction. Yeah, deep breath. That's it. Yeah. Yawning again. Yeah. So that yawn is going to trickle over and just sense what you're feeling. Yeah. Being aware of yourself all the way down to your feet.
I start to feel a little bit shift from the left side, more blood flow in like my ankles and my lower leg.
Nice.
But still a lot of stagnation
Yeah.
from the butt down the backside of the left leg. Real heaviness.
Yeah.
But it seems to be lightening up right now.
Yeah. So enjoy that lightening up. Like it's almost like you were inviting the awareness to it and indulging in it. There's something happening, and this is your nervous system. And so you look how easy and organic it actually is. All we did was pay attention. All we did was like start to incubate, like a little bit, being the cauldron. So let me know what comes up next. As you just kind of like enjoy that there's a little bit lightness. Yeah, toes.
Almost like I'm split right down the middle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yawning. That's it. Yeah. So good observation. You feel split down the middle.
Yeah.
Just notice that one side feels different than the other, and there's a split.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could kind of like, again, they're just words, but the words have energy. If you can describe the split metaphorically or just even in descriptive words.
This feels like there's a line
Yeah.
straight down my spine, splitting
Mm-hmm.
my body in half, and one's real dense and
Yeah, that's it. Letting yourself yawn.
it's real dense.
Yeah.
I also feel the energy kind of dissipating, integrating.
Mm-hmm.
Still there's a pain in the back of my leg,
The left.
the left leg.
Yeah.
Just stagnation.
Right. So go there, and just kind of sense where's the source of it? And it might be abstract or a metaphor, or maybe you can really just track, like a hunter tracking inside of yourself. Where does it start? Yeah, that's it.
It starts from my throat,
All right.
behind my ear,
Yeah,
and it wraps around,
yeah.
almost like a spider,
So that's the image that comes of a spider.
the web.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So yawning, also burping, stomach gurgling is part of this technique of releasing, and it happens organically. Just notice that web, spider web, and that this starts there, up here, and then goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Watch it inside as an image. Let's see what comes up next. We're like going inside the subconscious mind that speaks in metaphor, images, symbols, sensations. So we're working with another language here, trusting. Go into that spider. Just notice what happens. What else comes up?
feels a little lighter.
Mm-hmm. What feels lighter? Describe it.
Side of my neck, my head.
So there's something shifting, moving?
It just feels like it opened up.
Okay. Yeah, so let that yawn come and just indulge in that. Something shifted, something just opened up.
It feels like my other side of my skull is heavier now.
Okay. So things are moving around. You're doing a great job being present and watching within. Notice what you notice, and then when there's something to tell me.
Seems like the left side cleared, and now there's a heaviness on my right side.
Right.
Maybe not so much that it's moving around, but maybe I just didn't notice it because the other stuff was so heavy.
Right. That's it, yeah. So if we can see here.
And now it's going into my shoulder. I have an old injury.
Right.
I feel like I want to move my leg. Start squirming around.
Yeah. Good. So now you're telling me what your body feels like it wants to do. So I know you have these movements, Troy, like these habitual movements that help you, and it's part of like practices. Try to refrain for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. So there's like a like again, it's kind of like the squirming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen your movement, so I'm kind of doing it here for you. When you tune into that, like, what is that? What are you, when you do that? Asking your body mind right now. I'm sure you're just trying to find relief and working it out, but try to sense from your body mind what that's about. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's really moved to my shoulder head too. The injury is, I feel a little sharp pain.
Where do you feel a sharp pain?
Sharp and dull right in here.
Okay.
I pulled that once upon a time, so it's an old injury.
Yeah. Just feel your body speaking there. Sharp pain. And kind of look at it. And if there's any images that come up, you let me know. Yeah. Memory. Yeah. So when we work together like this, we're connected. My nervous system is connected with yours, so I start yawning too. And sometimes my body even shakes. Because I'm doing more than, like I'm also doing the energy work. Not intentionally, it's just kind of what I am. So if you see that happen, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you noticing now? A lot of yawning.
I yawned a lot when I was in the Amazon drinking ayahuasca.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Right. Working on the nervous system, that queen medicine plant.
The leg seems to have a little less pain, but the stagnation is there, and I still want to move it. It's in my back hip as well.
Yeah.
Still in my neck, my chest a little bit.
Yeah.
My heart.
Yeah, another yawn. Is there a part of the body again that feels a little more pleasant or peaceful or has strength?
Yeah, my right forearm and hand seem to be peaceful.
Yeah. your feet under you. You might need to shift a little bit in the chair. And press both feet into the floor. And all four corners of the feet. Just feel that inform yourself there. And just relax it. That's it. And again, like pressing a little bit of toes, yeah. Feeling that inform all the way up the legs, up the spine to the crown of your head, and then just let it go. And now your heels. Yeah. Just relax it. Side of the feet. Yeah. And just bring them inside, and then just the inside of the feet. Just noticing how those four corners of your feet do different things. Just coming back to neutral. And then I'm going to ask you to tune in to your leg, your left leg. Again, tracking the tension, the stagnancy, the numbness. And if your leg, you're not going to do it, but if your leg could do anything that it would want to do right now, what it would want to do?
Stretch.
Right. So stretching is like extending the leg. Does it just want to stretch? Does it want to kick? Push something away? Or just wants to
I want to put it over my other leg and sit on it. And stretch the, like pigeon pose.
Right.
The IT band.
Yeah. Just noticing that that's what we'd like to do. Same time also noticing calmness in the right hand and forearm. Just tell me what's coming up for you. Are you feeling a little sleepy?
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah.
Very relaxed.
Yeah. Yeah. Just pressing your feet into the ground. Feel that strength going up your legs. If you want to like sit up straight, you can do that, or you stay where you are. Right. Just relax, being inside of yourself again. Yeah, that was a little burp there. 2 burps. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and yawn. Yeah. Curling another fingers. Right. Yeah. What are you noticing now? As you let that. Right.
Yeah, still stagnation.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of like you want to squirm out of that, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No one likes feeling dense and stagnant and numb and heavy, right?
Right.
But it's okay, it'll pass, right? So we're experimenting here by just letting it feel kind of yucky or uncomfortable. Right, can yawn. That's it.
shoulder.
The left one?
Right one.
Okay. Where the injury was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened in that injury? What happened?
I think I was doing the real big monkey bars at Muscle Beach. Like 10 feet apart, swinging.
Yeah.
You gotta let go and then grab them. I think that's where I tweaked it.
Okay.
And it's just been on and off.
Yeah. Do you notice any patterns of when it begins to hurt? Yeah, that's it. Good. Letting yourself yawn.
No.
Oh. Just speaking right now.
Well, if I get stressed, I guess my
Right.
aches and pains come up.
Yeah. Right, so we're like touching in a little bit on the stress in the body right now. Giving a little attention so it makes sense it would act up.
Seems like that opened up more to this side. Cognitively. My energy was more over here than before.
Right.
Now it seems to be more over here. Still stagnation in my left leg.
Yeah.
Back of my hamstring.
Yeah.
Piriformis.
Right.
Heaviness in my left arm. And neck still.
Yeah. Do you still sense that there's a split down the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of hold both spheres at once. The one side that feels mostly more calm and spacious. And in some traditions that's your masculine side at this time, and the right side, and then the left side, the feminine side, is carrying a lot of tension. Just take a few breaths, kind of just noticing both of them, and holding the polarity at once. Take a few breaths, feeling that, the duality, two sides, the split, yeah, that's it. Oh. What do you notice as you do that?
I just want to move.
Yeah.
Out of the stagnation.
Right.
And that leg is so painful.
Right.
My butt, my piriformis.
Right.
Back of my hamstring.
Right. I can almost see that it's beginning to like feel like it's like this kind of like I can kind of leaning down to the left, and it's yeah.
It's a big energy.
Yeah. How long have you been aware of this energy on your left side of your body?
I'm not sure. I always like to stretch my legs.
Yeah.
Many years, 20, 30 years, I like to stretch my legs. But this level of focus, and doing Qigong and doing standing pigeon for many years, 9, 10 years. constipation in my lower left side of my gut,
Yeah.
descending colon.
Right.
I had that for like 25 years.
Right.
I finally healed that.
Yeah. But there's been a gripping, on the left side. There's been a contraction. And again, when there's constipation, it's also disturbance in rest, digest, right?
Yeah.
Calm nervous system that allows the food to come in, what needs to leave. Yeah. If this part of your body could say something, let that yawn come. What would it want to say?
I would say, let me out.
Right. So really feel that. Let me out. What else? Let me out because you're trapping me, or let me out?
Let me out, I want to be free.
I want to be free. Yeah.
I want to move freely. I want to be free.
Yeah. So let that come through, that you want to be free. There's something in you that wants to be free. And it's saying, let me out. Let me out of what? A situation, a feeling. Try to just free associate.
Let me out of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Let me out of this discomfort. Let me out of I want to be free from my anger.
Yeah.
Be free from my anger. I want to be free from my anger from my mother.
Right.
Free from my anger. I don't really have any anger towards my mother, but I think I have some old wounds.
Right. Is there anything that's happening right now in your life, the things that really make you angry around the justice, that feel familiar when it comes to relationship with your mother?
Yeah, I guess it would be why the injustice?
Right.
Why does it have to be this way?
Yeah. So she did something too that felt unjust.
Yeah, mommy, why can't you help me?
Yeah. Right. Just feel that vulnerable primal part that just asks, Mom, why can't you just help me? So notice what happens inside of you, touching upon that. Vulnerable part that is asking why. Why can't you just help me? Why does it have to be like this? I want to get out this anger.
Mm-hmm.
What do you notice? Yeah, another yawn. Are there any emotions that arise from touching upon that?
No, I just kind of want it to be over.
Right. What do you want to be over?
I'm gonna get out and start moving my body and
Yeah.
stretching.
Yeah. More more intensely watching this. So remember there was something that you did last time with the left leg. I'll back up just a little bit to give you room and space. Just tune into your left leg. We're going to allow it to move, but whatever movement it wants to do, I want to ask you to make it slow. Completely conscious, watching the firing of every muscle and feeling the sensations down the leg. Giving a little space to move. That's it. Very slow, if it could do what it wanted to do. Alright, so just feel that when it starts. Yeah. And in that sequence. And when you're ready, just allowing it to come back and just feel how it feels. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's much better.
You also-
Feels really good. It feels like the energy just went.
Right. So that's also what happened last time. There was like this sense of, and I'm just wondering, I know you call it a stretch, but I just get these images and you can always push back and say, no, that doesn't remind me of anything, or that doesn't resonate. But I keep on wondering, because sometimes I receive impressions working so closely with you. Yeah, let it yawn. Like if you ever had to kick or defend yourself from the left side, if there's any invasion, even if it's just emotional invasion.
Well, that cleared up the energy a lot. I mean, the blood flow is back in my ankle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I need to stretch the piriformis anymore.
Right. So enjoy that. Feel for yourself from the inside that shifted, released energy. And now there's more space to actually be there.
Mm-hmm.
And just notice what happens next.
The right shoulder still shooting a little sharp pain.
Mm-hmm.
My leg feels great.
Mm-hmm.
More blood flow. Seems like the stagnation in the back of my hamstring is releasing because the ankle and the calf and all that stuff.
Right.
It just feels like it's flowing now. The energy is just going.
Yeah. So allow that to flow and enjoy it. Watch it flow. And just tell me what happens next as you're indulging in that. Something's moving, something's flowing. And another yawn.
Seems like the energy's evened out.
Mm-hmm.
Still could go up my butt though for a It's still kind of tingling, very light tingles.
Where do you feel the tingling?
Lower part of my leg.
Yeah.
From the knee down.
Right. So this is another sign of somatic experiencing that the nervous system's releasing. So again, when that happens, we're going to be like kind of like celebrating that by paying attention to it for a while. Allow it to tingle. Allow it to go where it needs to go, and then just notice what happens next. Yeah, and there you are. Right. Yeah, that's it. Noticing.
Lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Less stagnation on the left side.
Mm-hmm. If your arms could do whatever they would want to do right now, what would that be? Without doing it. Just first tell me what they want to do.
Just stretch.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to allow you to do that, but again, really slowly. And maybe in a different way than you normally are. So you're tracking the energy body as you do that. Really slowly. Both legs, down to the end points, the feet, the fingertips. Yeah. Yeah. Feeling that diagonal from the left foot to the top of the right hand.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah, very slowly. And the diagonal, two parts, two sides. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Let that settle that you just did that, and just notice what you feel now.
Shoulder pain is still coming front and center.
Mm-hmm. On the right side again?
Yep.
Yeah. Press your feet into the floor again, like feeling that there's the earth below you. There is something that you can trust in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is some kind of grounding.
Mm-hmm.
And for you right now in your life, what would that be? That which you can trust to be just like justice and
Being alone.
Yeah.
And being on the earth.
Yeah. Taking time for yourself, being in nature, grounding, earthing.
Being alone.
Right.
Being on the earth.
Yeah. Having some space.
Yes.
Peace of mind.
Yes.
Energy, space. Yeah.
Being alone.
Yeah. Yeah. So sensing that up the legs, and then I'm going to ask you to do this kind of, we call it guppy melt. So you're going to feel everything from down to your toes as you do it to the crown of your head, particularly this kind of line of the torso from the intestines up to the tongue. It's like a slow opening, closing of the mouth. That's it, really slow. Be aware of your jaw and this whole line as you do it slowly. That's it. Yeah, very good, very mindful. Yeah, digestive tract starts going. Feel the gurgling in the stomach. And then maybe just 2 more times and then just out. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Yawning again. And just notice what happens now. Feeling yourself from the inside out. What are you noticing?
No, more balance.
Mm-hmm. How do you know that? Or do you feel that?
I feel less stagnation in my left side.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah. You did a lot of yawning too. So again, a lot of this is what you're releasing is abstract because it's just energy, right? We're actually not talking much about a storyline or memories. They're there, but all of this yawning is releasing energy from your nervous system and your energy body.
Mm-hmm.
When you get angry, do you notice where it sources from in your body? Like where it like erupts, sometimes like a volcano?
sometimes my head gets hot.
Yeah.
Stomach though too. Stomach definitely activates.
Yeah. Do you think it contracts or something, or what does it tend to do?
Yeah, contracts.
Right.
Contracts.
Yeah.
And my anger is so hair triggered.
Uh-huh.
So it's hard to notice exactly where it comes from.
Right. But that's again, like, so just a question to be curious about. Like, you already kind of noticed there's something going on down here, and then there's the head gets hot. But again, it's just create this spaciousness that next time you're in that situation that you know where it could possibly happen. I know it happens so quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to bring sensation to your body next time, it could be one of the tools that you could use in the moment to at least bring more awareness to what is an automatic reaction. And then sometimes by giving a little attention to the body sensations, it might give you a little bit of space to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it seems that the things that make you angry are the things that you can't control, right?
Yes.
Right. And that's like a loss of power.
Mm-hmm. Incapability to do anything.
Right. Powerlessness, helplessness.
And I know that I'm more powerful than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's frustrating.
Right. Because what happens if you can't control the situation? What happens if you can't manage the outcome? Like,
Fear of loss.
right. Yeah.
Being taken advantage of.
Yeah. So losing what? Losing, it might be more than one thing.
Well, losing control.
Yeah.
Losing freedom.
Yeah. There's a part of you that wants to be free and wants to get out.
Yeah.
Where does that part live inside of you? Where you scan yourself, the part that wants to be free. To not be trapped, not to have limitations.
Where does it?
Yeah, I know it's abstract. This is kind of like whatever comes. If you feel freedom from your body, where is it living? How does it feel?
My heart.
Yeah. So you remember the last time you really felt like free? Because we have, you might be going through restrictions right now or hard things, but we can still remember it, right? When we feel free, and you might have it on a daily basis sometimes, right? For a moment even.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I feel pretty free.
Yeah. And you sense that sensation in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel? Freedom in the heart.
Freedom in the heart. Well, I can only conceptualize. I guess freedom in the heart is spaciousness, openness.
Yeah.
Spacious, open, free.
Yeah. And if ultimately, right, you are free, and you sense that right now, spacious openness in the heart. So it's not just a concept, but you're actually because I know that there's probably things that are happening in your life that make you feel trapped and constricted, and that makes you angry. But at the same time, you're also really free.
Yes.
And you're powerful. tune into like that there is always both. Just the same way that there was the constriction, at the same time, a liberation on the right side.
Yeah.
Just sense that capacity you have to be with both. The part of you that is angry and the other part of you that is trusting Great Spirit. The part of you that feels trapped and the part of you that's always free. You notice as you do that. And the body.
Twisted.
You just feel twisted. Tell me more about that.
Well, my idea is just tie myself in knots. Because I am free. And then I have my own ideas of not being free.
Right. Yeah, there you are. Right. So we've done a lot of movement in the nervous system, and a lot has been moved around, and it might not make sense completely to the intellectual mind right now. If we just touch in, and there might not be the ability to do this because you're still probably integrating, reorganizing, and again, this is kind of sometimes abstract. But having gone through all of these things, and if you just, because you're different now than you were when we started, because every one of those yawns wasn't just a yawn, it had energy behind it. I'm just wondering if you look at what made you angry this morning or yesterday, just feeling that if there's any truth or any type of higher self message that you could tell yourself right now. Again, it's coming from soul, coming from the higher mind, coming from the part of you that is always free. Is there any message that would come through right now?
Well, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
This is part of the process.
Right.
Very necessary process
Yes.
at this time.
So everything's going to be okay.
Everything's going to be all right.
Yeah. And this is part of the process. So when we sense that, is the kind of way we're going to land the session today. That truth. And ask you to feel it from your body mind. That everything is going to be okay.
Everything's going to be okay.
Right. And if you can kind of also just take it on energetically. It's like you're stepping into a suit. That for you, Troy Casey, everything's going to be okay. This is part of the process. It's necessary. It might not be comfortable. But you have the resources to deal with this. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So feel that. Take it on. Just notice what you feel in your body. As you feel everything's going to be okay.
Everything's going to be all right.
Right.
feel a little clearing inside too.
Right now, just by saying that.
I think overall in general.
Yeah.
Overlook.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to invite you also to just take that with you, like as a kind of maybe like a mantra 3 times a day.
Everything's gonna be alright.
Yeah. And like, you know, that ability we have to self-comfort, and the ability you have to like go on those walks or earth, take off your shoes and be alone, to find some space. The intelligence of you that brought you from really dark places in life to where you are now, shining, helping a lot of people, being a dynamic force in this world, bringing forth your medicines due to the journey you've been on, right? So it's just naming your strengths, your resources. You have a lot of resources. And so just encourage you to take those moments during the day, especially even after the trigger. Of everything's going to be fine. I'm going to find a way. Because look where, if you look at where have you found your way so far in your life, you found your way out of many, many crazy, sticky, painful things, haven't you?
Yes. I've had some good angels on my side.
Yeah. But there's also that, it's you. You're the one that's come thus far even to say, I'm not a victim. This is a necessary part of the process. I'm not a victim. I will find a way. What comes up for you as we just bring this up?
Yeah, victory.
Victory, yeah.
Victory. It's all good. It's all part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's painful in the middle of it, but
Yeah.
yes, I'm given the gift to grow through it, to become stronger, to have more gifts.
Right.
The prayers of peace that I've been praying for.
Yeah.
Finding those in the face of the gifts of frustration and injustice.
Right.
If Viktor Frankl can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it takes a lot of surrender too. Like, there are things that are out of our control. We can't control other people, what they decide to do. Can't control the justice system. Can't control this great mystery of life. So let me just like at least address the things that I can and do my best. And relax in that part that gets really hard on yourself, right? I shouldn't have done that. I'm on a spiritual path. How could I have done that? How could I have said that? How did I lose my shit again, you know? It's okay. It's like you're trying. Just bring a softening to it. You are extremely disciplined, you know, you'll find the way in that as well. And so that would, I guess, would be my invitation right now, is like to use that mantra, that saying that came.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah. And, you know, gratefulness for the good things, not beating yourself up over in a time of stress. That's when you're going to go to the tobacco. You'll figure that out, you know. Again, it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, I'm very confident I'll figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, you know, the intensity around everything and the self-criticism is going to make feel even more anger. And there's like that soft compassion.
Tobacco's my ally.
Yeah.
Very grateful for it.
Right. And because there was a lot of like abstract movement in your nervous system, a lot of water is really important. And just be mindful what happens the rest of this day, your dream life tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, dreams.
Yeah.
Lucid dreaming.
Mm-hmm.